Imagine stepping into the labyrinthine world of a literary masterpiece where every page conceals a secret and every sentence invites you to decipher its code. Welcome to James Joyce's Ulysses, a novel that has baffled and beguiled readers for generations. Now, you might be thinking, why should you devote your time to unraveling the enigmatic Ulysses? Well, the answer lies in the thrill of a challenge. This novel isn't just a literary work, it's a literary adventure, and in this video, we will decode some of the mysteries of Ulysses and arm you with the tools to navigate its tricky passages. So, prepare for an eye-opening journey, whether you're a seasoned Joyce enthusiast or a first-time explorer. Today's mission is to introduce you to the world of reader response theory and how it serves as the key to unlocking Ulysses. So, let's plunge into this adventure together and unveil the magic of Ulysses through reader response theory. Now, let's set the stage for our exploration of Ulysses by getting to know the man behind the words, James Joyce. Born in Dublin, Ireland in 1882, he was a literary maverick of his time. He grew up in a vibrant city steeped in a rich history and culture, which later became the backdrop for many of his works. Academic achievements and voracious reading marked Joyce's early life, which might explain how Joyce could weave prolific references to other works in his writing. However, he soon realized his passion for storytelling went beyond the classroom. His desire to capture the essence of human experience would lead to a landmark literary career. In the early 20th century, Joyce wrote several groundbreaking works, including Dubliners and A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. And these novels showcased his emerging stream of conscious narrative style and laid the foundation for Ulysses. But Ulysses, published in 1922, truly catapulted Joyce to the forefront of modernist literature. This novel challenged conventional storytelling and showcased Joyce's unparalleled ability to investigate the depths of human consciousness. The novel also reflected the author's experiences. You see, Joyce faced various personal and financial challenges throughout his life, including struggles with his health and legal issues, and these difficulties influenced his writing and contributed to the themes of alienation and exile prominent in Ulysses. Joyce also lived a self-imposed exile from Ireland for most of his life, which surely impacted the novel's perspective on identity and belonging. Now, let's look closer at the novel Ulysses and what makes it so special. First, Ulysses is set in Dublin, Ireland on a single day, June 16, 1904. This day might seem ordinary, but within its pages it becomes extraordinary. It follows the intertwined journeys of three main characters, Leopold Bloom, a Jewish advertisement canvasser, Molly Bloom, his wife, and Stephen Dedalus, a young writer. And while the plot itself is simple, a day in the life of these characters with some unexpectedly salacious moments, it exposes their inner worlds, tackling themes of identity, alienation, love, and the human condition. The novel's title might ring a bell. That's because it's inspired by Homer's ancient Greek epic, The Odyssey. James Joyce cleverly parallels the journey of his main character, Leopold Bloom, with that of Odysseus in The Odyssey. And don't you worry, you don't need to know the ancient epic to enjoy Ulysses, but the parallels elevate the ordinary into something epic. Now, here's where it gets even more intriguing. Ulysses is not your typical novel with a clear beginning, middle, and end. Instead, it's like a puzzle, where you piece together the story as you go along. One of the reasons Ulysses can be puzzling is its unique writing style. Instead of a straightforward narrative, Joyce uses something called stream of consciousness. This means we can peek inside the character's thoughts and feelings in real time. But hold on, there's more. Ulysses doesn't follow traditional story transitions, making it a bit like jumping into different people's minds without warning. It's like a roller coaster ride through the thoughts of the characters. And interestingly, Joyce once said he included so many enigmas and puzzles that it will keep the professors busy for centuries arguing over what I meant. So, if you ever feel lost or puzzled while reading Ulysses, you're not alone, and it might even be intended. But here's the thing. That's part of the fun. Every page is like a new adventure. You'll start to piece together the bigger picture as you read. Ultimately, the challenges and enigmas of Ulysses make it a thrilling and rewarding reading experience, so don't be discouraged. Embrace and enjoy the process. Now that we've got a taste of what Ulysses is all about, let's explore how readers like you and me can unlock its secrets using reader response theory. Ready to continue? Reader response theory is like a special pair of glasses that lets us see literature in a new light. It's all about the reader, that's you and me, and how we make sense of a story. Imagine reading a book as a conversation between you and the author. In reader response theory, the reader's role is super important because it's not just the words on the page that matter, it's also what you bring to the table. So here's the cool part. The meaning of a book isn't set in stone. It's more like a recipe with some ingredients left to choose from. Your experiences, feelings, and thoughts are those ingredients that mix with the author's words to create meaning. So, in a nutshell, reader response theory is like unlocking the secret code of how books work. It's about understanding that your thoughts and feelings are a big part of the reading adventure, and that's exactly what we need to help us make sense of Ulysses. So, why is this theory so handy for Ulysses? This novel is like a canvas waiting for you to paint your picture. Every reader's journey through it is unique. The subjective nature of interpreting Ulysses means that your personal experiences, emotions, and perspectives play a big role. It's like looking at a painting and seeing different things depending on your mood or background. But here's the exciting part. There's no one right way to read Ulysses. It's like a story with many doors leading to a different adventure. And that's what we call multiple readings. It means that different readers can have their own unique interpretations of the same book. Your Ulysses might differ from your friend's Ulysses, and that's perfectly okay. Let's consider a scene from James Joyce's Ulysses where Leopold Bloom encounters a funeral procession. This scene takes place in the Hades episode of the novel, and it's a moment of reflection and contemplation. Leopold Bloom watches a funeral procession pass by in the streets of Dublin. He observes the mourners, the hearse, and the deceased being taken to their final resting place. Reader A, who has a background in literature and a fascination with symbolism, may interpret this scene as a representation of the cycle of life and death. They might see the funeral procession as a symbol of the inevitable passage of time and the human condition. To reader A, this scene could evoke feelings of existential contemplation and the fleeting nature of life. Reader B, who has a personal connection to loss and grief, may interpret this scene more emotionally and intimately. For reader B, the funeral procession could trigger memories of their experiences with death and mourning. They may relate to Bloom's empathy for the mourners and the moment's sadness, reflecting on their feelings of loss and the universality of human suffering. So in this example, two readers can interpret the same scene from Ulysses differently based on their personal backgrounds, experiences, and emotional connections. Reader A focuses on the symbolic and philosophical aspects, while Reader B approaches it with a more personal and emotional perspective. Let's consider another passage from the novel where Stephen reflects on his identity and place in the world. And this passage is from the Proteus episode where Stephen walks along the beach. Quote, "The grainy sand had gone from under his feet. His boots trod against a damp, crackling mast, razor shells, squeaking pebbles that on the unnumbered pebbles beats, wood sieved by the shipworm lost armada. Unwholesome sand flats waited to suck his treading soles, breathing upward sewage breath." Reader A, who has a background in literary analysis and enjoys exploring symbolism, may interpret this passage as a reflection of Stephen's inner turmoil and sense of displacement. They might see the grainy sand disappearing as a metaphor for Stephen's shifting identity and the instability of his self-perception. The reference to the lost armada and unwholesome sand flats could evoke thoughts of historical and cultural themes symbolizing Ireland's tumultuous past and uncertain future. Now, Reader B, who has a personal connection to the sea and has experienced moments of solitude and introspection, may interpret this passage more emotionally and experientially. For Reader B, the passage could suggest the sensory experience of walking on a beach, feeling the sand underfoot and hearing the sound of pebbles. They may relate to Stephen's contemplative mood and the sense of isolation, drawing on their own experiences of solitude by the sea. So, Reader A emphasizes the symbolic and literary aspects of the passage, while Reader B connects with the sensory and emotional elements, illustrating how reader response theory allows for diverse interpretations of the same text. And to make the most of understanding Ulysses, you've got to be an active explorer. The novel doesn't hold your hand. It challenges you to connect the dots and fill in the blanks. And speaking of dots to connect, Ulysses is full of hidden gems and references to other stories, history, and culture. This is what we call intertextuality. Here's an example. In the Circe episode, the characters undergo a surreal and dreamlike transformation, and their surroundings become a nightmarish and chaotic world. This episode is often seen as a descent into a psychological underworld, drawing parallels to Dante's journey through the circles of hell in Inferno. Joyce wrote, quote, "Hold hard. A man and a son was seeking shelter in a cave from the rain. The man laid down and died, and the wind was flapping the skirts of the women, and they bared their heads, and a man too." Unquote. This passage alludes to a story from Dante's Inferno. In Canto 5 of Inferno, Dante and his guide Virgil encounter the souls of the lustful, trapped in a never-ending whirlwind. Among them is Francesca da Rimini, who tells Dante her tragic story of forbidden love culminating in her death. The passage in Ulysses echoes the imagery of people seeking shelter from adverse conditions and mentions a man and a son, similar to the themes of tragic love and death in Francesca's story. This Circe episode of Ulysses is filled with such intertextual references, where the characters' experiences mirror the nightmarish and surreal quality of Dante's Inferno. The intertextual connection adds depth to the episode by drawing on Dante's themes of sin, punishment, and psychological exploration. And such intertextuality invites readers to explore the parallels between the two literary works. And readers familiar with references like this can bring their thoughts and feelings about Inferno to the interpretation of Ulysses. And there you have it. We've taken our reader response theory compass and begun navigating the Ulysses labyrinth. Let's wrap up our journey with some key takeaways. First, reader response theory is your trusty guide in steering the twists and turns of Ulysses. It reminds us that you, the reader, play a necessary role in unlocking the mysteries of this enigmatic novel. So don't be intimidated by its complexity. Embrace the challenge and remember that your unique experiences and perspectives are your superpowers. Reader response theory helps us understand there's no one-size-fits-all interpretation of Ulysses. Your reading is like a fingerprint, distinct and personal. And as you read Ulysses, let its stream of consciousness wash over you and don't hesitate to revisit passages that captivate you. You might see them differently at two different points in time. And finally, remember the joy of sharing your insights and interpretations with others. You might even include some in the comments. Through these conversations, the magic of Ulysses truly comes alive. If you liked this video, please press like and subscribe, and it's free, so you can easily revisit Learning with Dr. K content. Until next time, ta-ta.